What is going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today I want to talk about what happened this past weekend with Dragon Ball Super and kind of shed some light as to why the animation wasn't as good, which I'm going to start the video off by saying the animation in episode 5 was pretty bad. It's actually so bad to the point where a lot of people who were talking to me on Twitter were saying that they were distracted the entire time because of bad animation and couldn't really pay attention to the fight. Now, as far as the fight and the content of the episode, it was pretty good, I would say. Thumbs up from my end. But the animation overall, which I guess is the big chunk of the episode, just wasn't that good. Now, the question everybody's been tossing out is why? Why was it so bad? Is the future episodes, are they going to be as bad as this? Like, what's going on? Is Dragon Ball Super ruined? Rhymestyle, what do you know? Well, to be honest, actually, I don't know anything about the future. But I can actually break down how animation actually works and why certain animators are chosen over others. So, to start off, animators in Japan don't make that much money, first of all. The average animator makes roughly $9,000, $10,000 a year, which is not that much money. If you're young and you don't understand, $9,000 a year is not enough to pay rent. I don't understand how animators even survive with that low salary, but again, they chose that career, so that's up to them. As far as how it works is every episode from different animes, not just with Dragon Ball Super, with any anime, the studios will hire freelance artists to essentially work endless days to animate the episode so it can be ready for that week. So if you look at this list right now, as you see on the screen, big shout out to Kazenshu. As you can see, every episode of Dragon Ball Super thus far has been done by a different person. And as you can see, the person who did episode 5 hasn't done anything yet in terms of what we saw in the past couple days. That's why the last 5 episodes have been looking pretty differently. I mean, as far as how the first 4 episodes look, they look pretty good to me. Episode 4 was kind of weird because it had those thick lines, but overall, every time an episode is done, not just with Dragon Ball Super, but any anime, it's usually done by somebody else. And actually, I'm about to read off something I got from Reddit. Big shout to Captain Garlock for this, because it basically nails it with how animation works in Japan. So the first point is, some people, like the animation producers, the directors, or some designers, and production assistants get a salary during the entire production process. So the schedules are kept short to limit the global production costs. But most of the animation staff are freelancers, as I already said, and the cost of having everybody working in-house will be unbearable. Only one studio was able to do that, and that's Studio Ghibli. But the problem is not that the studios are greedy. The Japanese animation studios are small companies struggling with budgets allowed by their clients. They're not the rights holders. They usually do not make large benefits and are not in position to invest their own into the IP they sometimes create. So with Dragon Ball Super, that's why episode 5 was just not as good as the previous episodes. So they don't have that much money to put into basically every episode. Now, if it was a movie, for example, with movies, there's a lot more money going into it. That's why stuff like Resurrection F and Battle of Gods look so good. And then you see stuff like, you know, the actual anime episodes, and they're not that good. Now, moving to the next point, number 2, the budgets in Japan for animation are extremely low, as I've already said. You make roughly about 9 to 10 grand a year, which is not that much, like I said. In the 60s, to succeed in this crazy idea to produce weekly animated shows, Osamu Tezuka asked the animators to make a lot of sacrifices, work very hard for very low pay. The same standards are still here 50 years later. Now, when I say work hard for very low pay, like I said, 9 to 10 grand a year, and these are usually 11 to 12-hour days, where you can literally make like $20 a day. Sometimes you make like 25 a week, sometimes you make like 100 a week. It's very low paying. Now again, I'm not sure why a lot of animators choose that, career. They love drawing, I guess, but it's not a really well-paying job. On a TV series production, an animator is usually only paid around $40 to animate one cut. In between, it's only get around $2 per drawing. To make a living out of it, animators need to work fast and cannot afford to work exclusively on one show. The large part of animators are freelancers who work several studios at the same time. So the same animators who've been working basically on the past couple episodes for Dragon Ball Super also simultaneously work on other shows, because again, that's the only way they can actually survive, just because it's so low paying. So that's why every single episode from different animes is done by different persons. So that's how that works. Number 3, the problem is the Japanese anime industry is now producing too much content at an incredibly fast rate. There are not enough skilled and experienced animators here to supervise the productions and teach young animators. The studios have no other choice but to work with poorly skilled animators, sometimes amateurs who only do it as a hobby. They also have no other choice but to outsource tasks in other countries, not to limit the cost but to deliver the episode on time. So not only do it have not enough resources to create these episodes, but they don't have enough time. So in cases like with episode 5, I don't know if that anime was just really, really bad, because he's done some stuff in the past that was a lot better. But I don't know if it was just out of time or what, but clearly it was a mix of, he had to rush the episode, and at the same time he also wasn't as good as the previous animators. But that's basically how that works. The final point that Captain Garlock said was, everybody in the industry is incredibly busy all the time, especially skilled staff. But even mediocre animators are requested on a regular basis. And it's pretty common that nobody will work on your show until the very last moment, because they're already struggling with their deadlines on other productions. So they're working on multiple things at once, as I said. In the current situation, it's also common to hear people speaking of miracle when an episode is broadcasted on time. Sometimes the animation only started 2 weeks before airing, and episodes can only be completed only a few hours before being shown on TV. The quality can be poor, but what matters the most is to have something to put on screen. And that's, again, kind of goes back to the whole not having enough content, not having enough time to put out quality content and enough quality, I guess, animators. That's kind of how it works. So that's why episode 5 wasn't as, as good. Let's be real, it was boo-boo. You see it on screen, it was pretty bad. That's why episode 5 turned out the way it did. Now, that's not to say the future episodes are all going to be bad, because again, episode 6 is going to be done by someone else, episode 7 will be done by someone else, and whoever basically is doing the animation at the time is basically in their hands based on how much time they have, what else they're working on, to kind of deliver a quality product. So that's kind of how it works. So I kind of want to make this video just kind of shed some light. Again, big shout out to Captain Garlock, because he basically posted this on Reddit. I will also post the original link to Reddit, you can see yourself. He basically broke it down to a science to how it works, why it works. I mentioned to you how much animators make. It's not that much, and that's just something we have to deal with as fans. I mean, I can't speak for anime companies. I don't know how much money they actually make or what goes into what, but I just know that when it comes down to it, there's not enough money to do it, there's not enough time, and there's not enough resources to put out quality content to give us basically an amazing episode every single time. So it's just something that we have to deal with every now and then. So I guess it's not the end this is not the last time we see this. I'm sure we'll see this a couple more times, not just in Dragon Ball Super, but pretty much any anime. I mean, Naruto's a famous one. I mean, if you guys watch Naruto, you've seen probably a lot of those situations with Naruto where the animation just kind of dropped off horribly. And a good example is actually Pain, the fight with Pain. So if you guys remember that. But yeah, what do you guys think about that? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope that this kind of sheds some light to how animation kind of works. And if you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below as well. And of course, if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to leave a like rating below to let me know. And other than that, I guess I'll see you guys in the comment section below, because I'm sure there's a lot of questions and I got some answers. Well, I got some answers at least. I'll try to do my best to answer as many questions as possible. So I'll see you guys in the comment section below. Peace.